systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, Ship It Nation YouTube station? Back Tuesday. It's been a minute since I've been on a Tuesday show, a couple weeks with the no fun job getting in the way, back-to-back travel weeks. Appreciate the team for subbing in for me. But Gyiraszin, we were on last week, and I was at the hotel, and the hotel Wi-Fi outdid the Ryzen residents over there. Maybe your neighbor was getting some good stuff rolling next door, or maybe those storms. I don't know what the hell is going on, but hopefully the internet holds true for us today. We got a fun slate ahead, 12 games. We got a Sutter Health. No Coors Field, which is nice, but Sutter Health kind of takes that place. Think you can spread out a bunch of different ways at pitcher and offense. I mean, ownership really isn't going to be existent. I mean, yeah, you got the Rays, but their price points are up, and we got spend up arms on this slate. So it's going to be interesting. I think you're going to get the Rays lower owned tonight than you will last night. I was on my boy Jacob Lopez yesterday, and he pitched 7 good innings of 2-run baseball. And then guess what? We talk about the bullpens all the time. That damn bullpen comes in and gives up 8 fucking runs, and the Rays still get there. So yeah, that's why we talk so much about bullpens, and it's another talking point here tonight. And I got kind of a way that I'm approaching the slate and really going in on attacking these bullpens overall, but should be a fun one to break down with you. What's up, man? Happy Tuesday. How we doing, brother?
Not too bad. Feeling a little my age here in recent times. Went tubing down a river for like 5 hours over the weekend on a camping trip, and dude, they like kicked my ass. Like, river kick can't be fucking with Mother Nature. She gonna win every damn time, and this 53 or 54-year-old figured that out real quick. So, but yeah, I mean, it's good to have you back. I know I missed you the last couple Tuesdays, but all is good. And yeah, who knows what the hell happened to my Wi-Fi? Fucking, it's hardwired in. I could have been watching too much porn, neighbor, somebody. You never know around here. Like, you never know. The thing too is, Nate, usually when I'm DFS, like, checking out what I'm going to do and researching, I got all kinds of shit open on my tab. Sometimes I probably just got to shut some damn tabs down. And then some of them sites seem like they're just, more ads and shit that come up and crap. So either way, but yeah, this slate's pretty good. Like, this one's kind of fun. Like, I started breaking it down. It's way different on a FanDuel from a DK perspective, like especially pitching. But Hunter Brown's really good here. He's my favorite on FanDuel. We can just start off there at the top as far as pitching goes. But yeah, I kept like going through pitching going, oh, well, he's pretty good. Oh, yeah, well, I'd play him. Yeah, well, I'd play him. Yeah, I'd play him. Yeah, I'd play him. I'm like, shit, there's like 10 dudes I was looking at playing nades. Like, normally we're not on that many guys. And, you and I were talking before, like, this is the kind of slate that normally it don't come up to where we feel like, dude, there's like a dozen to 10 pitchers I think you might be able to look at least 10. So it's like, how much is too much in your portfolio of how many teams you're playing? Like, how wide do you want to take it? I like a more condensed approach. You were kind of saying the same thing. I know, we're always big on going back and looking at some of the guys you see high up in your tournament you're playing in, consistent guys that may be winning. Like, look how they're, building their teams, things that you can learn by it. And, like you were saying, like you check, and a lot of times these guys are, got a pretty short pool of pitchers, but it's an interesting one today. That's for sure. I think today is a pretty good slate, Nades, where you got a lot of great plays that are obviously great plays that I don't think are going to be too highly owned. I think probably the highest owned anything on the slate today will probably be, like maybe a pitcher. I think Hunter Brown would be really high owned on FanDuel. We talked a little bit, maybe Burke on DK, paying down a little bit. But, I mean, even as far as some of the bats go, I mean, the bats are in some really good spots. There's some pretty shitty pitchers on the bottom half of the slate here today too. So, man, it's going to be fun to talk about it because – a lot of times when I come in to doing these shows with, you or Matt, like I got a pretty good vibe earlier what I'm thinking about doing. And then there's a couple times, like we might sneak in a Ranger team tonight. Maybe we'll sneak in an Astro team out there. I don't like San Francisco, but dude, that guy sucks out there. So it's like, all kinds of little things that we can talk about today. So it should be fun to talk about this slate. But definitely going to be a good one.
Yeah, no, I like a lot of what you said, and that's the glory of daily fantasy, right? Like, everyone has kind of their pre-negotiated kind of rules that aren't really hard and fast rules, like don't play guys here, don't play guys there, don't attack this, don't attack that. And I'm going to find myself kind of throwing some of those by the wayside here tonight. We'll get to it and talk about it, but let's go right into pitching here. Loaded pitching tier, especially in the top tier. You got Waka Flocka Flame at 8K. Pretty solid real-life pitcher. Obviously gets the matchup against the Dodgers. And it is out in Dodger Stadium out there. Not really going to think he's much in play. Brian Wu pitching in the Yankee Stadium. Don't really like him. But from Sean Burke all the way up to the top, I think won't really fault anybody for kind of messing with some of these guys. In particular, Dylan Cease stands out, gets the matchup against the Red Sox that, hey, maybe they forgot their PitchCom hacking system back in Boston. Now that they're up in north of the border, right? Maybe they didn't want Customs to kind of take their little hacking software there that they had to call those signs, because they finally came back down to earth. Surprise, surprise, when I was kind of all over their offense last night. But it is still a pretty low strikeout matchup. Dylan Cease is pretty matchup independent, right? If he has his best stuff, doesn't really matter who he's facing. Still 10-5, pretty expensive price point to play. He does have the best K prop on the slate, sitting at 7.5, heavy juice to the over there. Sean Burke has been incredible all season long. He's sitting at a 7.5 K prop. It is juice to the under there, but he looks pretty good to me. And then there's other guys in here. I mean, you got Blake Snell back in our lives. Dodgers getting some of their horses back healthy. Not really sure what his pitch count concerns is. I mean, his ownership would suggest, and the K-prop would suggest, that they're not too worried about him. I mean, the Dodgers usually take a pretty cautious approach anyways with their starting pitching. So you're really never getting many of these Dodger arms going 7 innings, 8 innings, outside of a very, very sporadic kind of spot start here and there. So Blake Snell at 9K, pretty favorable price point for him. Hunter Brown, you talked about it. He's my favorite pitcher overall on the slate at 9.3. But nonetheless, we do have a pretty loaded top tier here. And then spend all the way up to be contrarian. Christopher Sanchez, a really good arm. Nobody's going to play him out there pitching in St. Louis, which is one of the best pitching environments actually over the course of the season overall on the slate. So talk to me here, this top tier. Many different ways to go. I think it's pretty headlined around Hunter Brown for me as kind of my focal point, with Sean Burke, Dylan Cease kind of filtering in behind. But talk to me here.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. I couldn't really fault you for wanting to play almost. I mean, there's 10 dudes over 8K, which we don't normally see that. But I mean, with Sanchez against St. Louis at 10-7, I don't think he's going to get too much ownership. So I think as a tournament type play, you really can't go wrong. You mentioned the matchup against the Cards. It's not the best of matchups as far as strikeout goes, but Sanchez pretty much almost 28% strikeout pitcher. But you look over here at what we're dealing with the Cards. You got one guy sitting at Jordan Walker's at 20.5%. Pretty much everyone else is lower except this Pereira in the 9 hole in the projected lineup. So I mean, we're sitting here looking at guys in the low teens, mid teens. So yeah, I mean, the strikeouts just aren't there for Sanchez. So that does kind of scare me off him. So I mean, if you're looking at reasons to throw guys out, I mean, the reasons I think I'm going to be looking for are the strikeouts, are what kind of leash he's got, and then let's look at ground ball type, the matchup he has, and is he more of a fly ball lean, ground ball lean on top of his strikeout? So I think, with Sanchez, we know that he is a ground ball type, lean type pitcher. I mean, he's 67% to the left side, 55.6% to the right side. So, he's definitely in play, but he isn't one of my favorites. I mean, as we go down, we got Dylan Cease. Now, you can look at Dylan Cease and, you sit there and I'm looking at, all right, man, his matchup here against Boston isn't the greatest. We got a game total sitting there at 7. Boston been hot, obviously, as we know. Their strikeout percentages are not that high either. They have Wilson Contreras 28%, Jaron Dern at 29%, and then you got everybody else's between like 16 and 17% in that lineup. But let's go back to July 25th. Not too long ago, Dylan Cease pitched a 1-hit, 9-inning shutout, 120 pitches with 12 Ks against this same team. So, and he's pitched like 4 times against the Red Sox so far this year as well. The last time before that, he had 7 Ks. So, I mean, he's been able to get the job done. Dylan Cease, for me, I think is one of these guys that I think is kind of matchup proof. So I think Dylan Cease is a guy that I'm definitely leaving in my pool. I think he'd be probably lower owned than he should be in the matchup here we got today. But I think Dylan Cease for me would be a guy that I definitely lean on. Now, McLean against Atlanta, man, I really don't like picking on the Braves. I mean, it's hard. The Braves are coming in as a favorite. McLean, I mean, you're looking at his strikeout percentages are pretty good. 27% to left, 30% to the right. So to me, I don't prefer the matchup. It's just a preference thing. I mean, you could leave McLean in. I wouldn't argue with you, but for me, it's just not something that I'm really too interested in doing. Harrison against the Padres. I really like Harrison. I think this kid's really good, but he struck out 10 batters, 5 innings. I mean, it's just he went out with calf cramps. I don't know, you being closer to it, if you know more than I do, but he only had like 70 pitches. So I think that's a little concerning. The San Diego matchup isn't one that I really prefer either. I mean, they don't have too many strikeouts in that lineup either. So Harrison, I think would be kind of like maybe pivots. I mean, he's still a great pitcher, but I just think he'd be a pivot off a Hunter Brown, who's in that spot at 9,300, obviously gets a really good matchup against the San Francisco team that's just been god awful. I mean, he come back off the IL. Brown struggled a little bit, but his last few starts, he's been really good. I mean, his ground ball rate's been really high. So 60% ground ball rate in his last month or so. So I think for me, that's what makes Hunter Brown, especially with the matchup against the this Giants team is just terrible, man. Just absolutely terrible, as Charles Barkley would say. So, yeah, I think Brown for me, especially on FanDuel, is my favorite. Now, Snell, I don't know what to think of Snell. Yeah, he's a little underpriced at where he is, 9K. He gets a matchup against the Royals. I think that's pretty much a pure tournament play for me. Like, if I had 3 teams, I am not going to Blake Snell, which I usually play. I can't fault you for it. I think it's another type pivot play. I don't know how many pitches you're going to get out of Snell. Looks like he's only gone 4 innings in his handful of rehab starts, mid 70 pitches. So I think that's concerning for me too. So I think I want to see Snell maybe one start more, maybe this start, see what he bringing to the table before I get overly excited. And man, as I was telling you before pre-show, man, these Dodgers are starting to get back all these pitchers, and I'm starting to turn in. I mean, they're going to get Glasnow back. If Shohei comes back, like shit, those dudes are loaded. So, and we're all, it's like rest of MLB versus the Dodgers. Like it seems like everybody's against the Dodgers. Now, Weathers against the Mariners. I just don't really like the matchup there with the Mariners. I mean, I'm looking at, right next to him is Burke against Cincinnati, who, I mean, we've been talking about Cincinnati. We kind of like picking on Cincinnati recent times. So Cincinnati for me is definitely a team I want to pick on. Got a game total sitting there at 7.5. So I definitely like that. Burke's been looking pretty good, basically 28% to the right side, 27% to the left side as far as strikeout goes. Last 30 days, his strikeouts been up to 36% to the right side. So I think that is something that I'm looking at. But I think like the difference between Burke and Brown for me is Burke gives up a little bit more fly balls to where Brown's more of a ground ball pitcher. So I think if I had to choose between the two, that's why I went Brown over Burke. But man, them two are pretty close for me. So really close. I think those two are probably going to be fairly popular just because of their price points on DK. But Wu, I mean, dude, like Wu sucks on the road, right? But you sit there and look at the matchup, Nades, like against the Yankees, you're like, yeah, I mean, he's got some strikeouts there that could be had, like I think I mean, he's not the worst. His K prop's sitting at a pretty healthy number, 6.5. I mean, that's pretty good. But I mean, I think Woo's another guy that's a pretty good pivot. It's like you can go through and you think like some of the chalkier guys, and then I think really beyond Burke and Brown, I think them are the only two that I would call maybe chalk. But I won't call them chalk because they're really not. They're just probably going to be the higher owned. Like I'm not going to say they're going to be too heavy owned. But, man, I think there's just so many options you can play, which I think it's a pretty cool slate. But, I mean, just going up between them all, like I said, I think Burke and Brown for me up at the top. And then I think I'm going Dylan Cease. And then I think I would probably go Woo, then Harrison, I think. But, man, I mean, it's close. But I think I would be more condensed. I don't think I'd put Woo and Harrison in my pool. I think I would just pretty much go Brown, Burke, and Cease. And I would just leave it at that. I mean, let's attack the good matchups. Let's attack, what's out there and play the slate we got. A lot of these guys we're skipping over, we play like more than half the time they're on the slate, right? Like we're looking at these guys as guys that, we're always talking about. But to me, I'm just going to stick with some of the guys that have been doing it. I mean, Cease has had 8 almost strikeouts, like 10 out of his last 13 or 14 matchups. Like he's been really good. So I think that's why I have him as high up as he is. But, man, I like the matchup against Cincinnati with Burke. But like I said, his fly balls scare me a little bit. And then, the matchup with Brown is my favorite all the way across the board. I mean, he's looked good his last couple starts. So I think he's just getting to that point. He's starting to get his groove. He's dialed in. And that's that's the horse I'm riding here today.
Yeah, no, I'll start with Cease is the SP1 on the slate. He is going to be owned as such as well. I understand it's a low strikeout matchup for Boston or against Boston here. But again, like I said, Cease is matchup proof, I think. He is going to be the highest owned guy on the slate, at least projections would say so. Coming in right around 35-40%. Nothing crazy. All things considered, I do have Hunter Brown kind of number one when you add in the discount, the ownership discount as well. I'm out on Blake Snell, hasn't topped 4 innings in any of his 4 rehab starts, 73 pitches. I'm assuming kind of 80, 85 pitches is probably max out there. And who knows, right, what's going to happen because, again, there's uncertainty up there over with the Dodgers on if Ohtani's able to pitch the rest of the year, things like that. Not that they necessarily need him, but they're going to need their arms to be healthy to make the run, obviously. So I think they're going to be pretty cautious with Blake Snell. They got a really good bullpen to rely on. I think you're looking at probably 4 innings out of Snell. Let me see 1 second. I want to see what Snell's out prop is here just to see. Yeah, I don't even think. Hold on. Yeah, they didn't even hang an out prop on Blake Snell. From what I'm seeing, I can't find one. He does have a 6.5 K prop, which does hence the projection, hence the ownership going there. I'm just throwing him out when I like Hunter Brown that much more, and I'm actually in on Weather. So we do differ there. I like Ryan Weathers quite a bit here. It's not the best hitting environment here tonight. I know Yankee Stadium does play above average. The wind's going to kind of be blowing out to right center, but it's only going to be kind of mid-70s the duration of the game. It's not going to be like it's 90-something degrees there. Still going to play above average, like I said, for hitting, but I do think Weathers is a pretty interesting play here. He does have a decent amount of strikeouts in the back half, especially of that lineup against left-handed pitching, Raleigh, Wilson, Emerson, and he's going to see 4 lefties as well, which he does have a 29% K rate against lefties on the season, so that does help. Even against righties, keeps the ball on the ground. So I do think Weathers is a really interesting play overall for me. So how I rank this top tier, I'm going to go Hunter Brown, number 1. I'll go Dylan Cease, number 2, Burke 3, Weathers 4, and then Harrison and Brian Wu would be kind of the 2 tournament options that nobody's going to play that I think have upside here. I prefer Wu to Harrison with the salary discount just because I don't know what the pitch count looks like for a guy like Kyle Harrison. I think it was more precautionary last start. They were kind of cruising in that game anyway, so why not just turn it over? He struck out 8 in a row, I think, to end that, and then got the cramp. They pulled him out there. Sanchez is really just a spend up to be contrarian. 10-7. He's a pivot off of Dylan Cease. So if you have a chalkier team like a Ranger stack something like that, and you have the extra $200, I wouldn't fault anyone for going Sanchez, but realistically, you're focused around Cease, Brown, Weathers, Burke are kind of the four guys that I'm mainly looking at, with Harrison and Brian Wu again being the additional guys. There is a couple guys down below 8K here, Gyiraszin, that I think you can play. Cody Bradford looks pretty interesting. Gets the pivotal matchup against the Angels. It is another lefty against the Angels with all that, I say all that righty power. With some righty power in there, Trout hit a bomb last night. Bradford, I think, is interesting just because of the matchup and the price point. Patrick Sandoval gets a scuffling Toronto Blue Jays. Historically, a pretty low strikeout matchup, but Sandoval looks pretty decent here at the salary, and it kind of flips the build overall. So talk to me on those two guys. His K prop sitting at 4.5, juice the juice the under there. But again, he's 6,900 on a slate where there is spend up bats to be had. So talk about those two guys, and then any other cheap guys that you think you could punt on if you wanted to, if you're not double spending, which there is definitely rosters to be able to do that with how expensive the Rays are, things like that on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, these bottom guys for me, I just don't see the benefit of me taking the risk of trying to play a guy like this with really hardly any upside. I mean, I could see it. I just don't feel like there's this, you can build teams without, I feel, having to punt pitching basically today. There's too much higher end pitching on the end here that I feel that is going to be in play today. So, but yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to squeeze, Bradford 7,300. But I mean, to me, I can find another 15 or 1,600 and get up to some better plays. I mean, he only's got one start. He didn't really. I mean, he's got the Angels matchup. Yes, I mean, he had 70 pitches his last time out, 5 Ks, was pretty good. Gave up 5 hits, no runs. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could look at it, but I mean, what are we looking at? 80 pitches. I mean, he's just not really what I think I'm looking for on this slate. I got to play the slate in front of me, right? I mean, Bradford's sitting at a 4.5K prop. So I feel like I'm giving up a lot just because there are too many guys with way higher K props than what we're looking at. So for me, I think that's kind of it's just too risky for me on this. I mean, Sandoval has been good in recent times. I mean, he gets a matchup against Toronto that I haven't really liked. But I think I feel Sandoval than probably Bradford here in this one. But I mean, he gets Toronto. Toronto doesn't. It's not a team that I generally like even chasing for strikeouts either. So I mean, you look at it. I mean, McAdoo, I guess, Brett Bateman, but everybody else has been terrible. I mean, Okamoto maybe or has been pretty good. Okamoto 28%. So I'm just not in love with the matchup here. They're basically going to see all righties, I would assume, from the Blue Jays. That's usually seems the case. So I guess Sandoval, I guess I could maybe stomach a little bit. After that, man, it gets really rough. Brad, I can't do that. I mean, I guess if you wanted to look at that, I mean, 25% K rate and 6% walk rate in AAA. Hasn't really done too much here since he's been up. He looked pretty good his last time out, 9 Ks. So maybe if you want to go his first 4 or 5 starts where him trying to figure out what it's all about up here in the show, figured it out last time. I mean, he got the job done against the San Diego team, which we generally don't like chasing. So, I mean, I guess you could put him in play too, but man, Nades, like I said, I just think there's two on a smaller slate. If we didn't have like 10 dudes over 8K and it was a thinner pitching, I'd be way more in on these dudes, but I just think there's too many guys up at the top that, have a way better opportunity. The floors are too low for these guys. So for me, it's just too tough for me to want to get into that. I saw, hear about Nick Martinez. Yeah, Nick Martinez has been good at limiting power and limiting hits. And he's definitely a pitcher you don't want to play against. But on the other hand, he's a 3 or 4 or 5 strikeout type pitcher. I mean, he's not getting you anything here. So he doesn't have any upside for me. This isn't a slate for me that I'm looking for outs. I'm looking for some upside today. Sometimes we're looking for outs when we don't have great pitching. Today, that's not the case, Nades. I think we need to kind of make sure we keep some good pitching in our pools here. And like I said, there's a lot of different pivots out the Burks and the Browns. You can go many different ways, but I just think A lot of good pitching today. I just don't think you should take it too lightly and think it's an easier fade today than normal, especially on DK. Because two of those guys, there's going to be teams, there's too many guys that, everybody's not going to have two pitchers up at the top that did fairly well. I think you're going to see that quite. I mean, there's too many guys up at the top.
Yeah. So, the only three guys I'm looking at down below is Bradford, Bratt, and Sandoval, like you mentioned. I do think Mitch Bratt's kind of interesting just because it completely gets you on a different build than most people. The cash game pairing is going to be Dylan Cease and Sean Burke. For good reason, right? Those look like underpriced for the matchups, great strikeout matchups. They've been in good form. K-props, everything would suggest that those are great plays for sure. So you already know that you're looking at about 20K, 20 grand, 19,000 in terms of salary from your pitching. So if you drop down and you play a guy at 5,700 who's got a projection almost approaching 13 points at 5,700, it just gets you on a different roster construction, and that could be getting off like a value Texas stack with a high implied run total and flipping the build. And maybe you then can spend up on Caminero, Aranda, some of those Rays and kind of flip the build there and still get another spend up arm, something like that. So I do think Brad's kind of interesting overall there. You look at the Rockies, they've been pretty solid over the last month, but on the season, they're still a 25% K rate against left-handed pitching. And Mitch Bratt is $5,700 on a slate where you could spend up, but ideally, majority of your teams are going to be anchored with two of these guys up above 8K is personally how I'm approaching it, because it doesn't take that much to get to a Sean Burke, to get to a Ryan Weathers, a Hunter Brown. Those are kind of three of my favorite guys on the slate, and they're 9,300, 8,500, and 8,700, where it's very affordable to be able to do that. So the only three guys that I would look at, like I said, are those three guys down below that I had already mentioned. Let's jump over here and talk hitting on the slate. First game on the main slate is going to be in Yankee Stadium. It is going to be Ryan Weathers, two pitchers that we both had interest in. It is still Yankee Stadium. There is still some wind blown out to right center field in that short porch for the lefties. Wu has not been as good on the road. I still think he's a serviceable enough arm. I think he's one of the better arms, if not the best arm that they have over there. Ryan Weathers, good bullpen behind him as well. I don't love this game from offense when there's a bunch of other spots. I mean, sure, you can always play a low-owned Yankees squad anytime they're on a slate. They just haven't been great as of late. I mean, Grisham, Garcia coming over. Jazz always has upside. George Lombard, you got a cheap shortstop there. Spencer Jones is home run or bust, it feels like at this point. But, I mean, I could get behind some low-owned Yankees if that would be my preferred side if picking one. But I just don't love this side for this game really from either side of it. I'm more pitching than hitting in this one, but talk to me here.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to look at, the Yankee lefties against Wu, he has been bad on the road. I mean, if you wanted to go that route, is ground ball percentage, as far as Wu goes, 47% to the left side. He's at 35% to the right side in his last month. Over the season, it's the opposite. So he's actually been getting more ground balls here in the last 30 days against lefties. So that's a little concerning. He has been getting barreled up a lot against righties here recently, almost 11%. So, yeah, I mean, I don't love it. It's just there's too many good offenses today. I would have the Yankees, bottom of the dozen probably. So, yeah, I'm not going there. Maybe some one-offs if you want to look at that. Ben Rice has always been good against righties. He's got a 401 WOBA, 316 ISO. Lombard started out pretty good. So, yeah, is Lombard Derek Jeter? That's what I keep hearing. And some of these Yankee fans think they got Derek Jeter 2.0. But, you'll never get Derek Jeter 2.0. But, so I think it's interesting, but it's just not there for me, Nate.
Yeah, Mariners bullpen's been really, really good since June 10th. So I looked at the last 2 months because obviously the trade acquisitions, things like that, I kind of hone the bullpen stuff in. And 27th, 3.72 xFIP, which is fourth best in the league overall. So not the best spot overall. Another kind of more of the same here. Blue Jays and Red Sox. It's crazy to say Red Sox been the best team in baseball over the last 30-some days. They obviously lost last night. I don't love it here. I'm not picking on Dylan Cease. Patrick Sandoval ranks really good. He's been pretty solid. Blue Jays just not been great. Okamoto, as a value, but he's hitting 7th. I don't even love that. This is another game I don't love from a DFS perspective here from offense. Boston's bullpen has been really good, second best in baseball over the last 2 months. Blue Jays, not so much, but they're still kind of pretty decent, and I don't love it. I'm not picking on Dylan Cease, who's just a workhorse. He's going to give you 100+ pitches more times than not, and then you're playing platoon guys at the back half of the bullpen. Talk to me here.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one either for bats. I mean, we're not picking on a slate like this. We're not picking on Sandoval or Dylan Cease. I mean, if you wanted to, maybe you're not even going to get enough leverage to even take a chance on Cease. So it's not even really worth it to me. So, but yeah, I got no interest in this one.
Yeah, I agree. Next spot, the Mets have been smashing baseballs somehow. Maybe they pulled a different deck of cards out than last season, right, where they got red hot first half of the year and fell off the cliff the second half of the year. Maybe they're trying to switch things up, which probably is pretty smart. But Martin Perez, not a great arm by any means. Braves bullpen really solid. I mean, I won't be shocked some of these Mets get there again and just riding the hot hand. It's just I don't love this spot here again. I mean, Lindor, sure, 4,500 at shortstop, which is historically pretty weak. I think he's an interesting play. Luis Robert, something like that. But I don't love this game again from a stacking perspective. Nolan McLean's good enough arm. I just didn't love him from the DFS side of things with his salary overall. You can always play a Baldwin, Acuna, Olsen, Harris, that top 5 like I talk about all the time. Again, not a spot where I love offense. So overall, we'll definitely get to some. These are two teams that I don't really love. I won't fault anyone for going there, but it's not something really I'm kind of keen in on. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, overall stacking, no. I will say McLean's given up 1 homer, 2 homers, 1 homer his last 3 starts. Just kind of looking, he's been getting hit by lefties pretty hard in his last 30 days. He's at a 10.5% barrel percentage. Fly ball percentage is up from where he's normally at 31%. Ground ball percentage is a little bit lower than what he's normally at. So I guess what I'm getting at here is he's been struggling a little bit in his last few starts with some lefties. So maybe if I'm looking for a low-owned one-off, like you said, Baldwin, Olsen, Harris, I think would be good. My favorite one would probably be like a Matt Olson. I think that would be where I'd go. But yeah, I mean, maybe if you want to, maybe home run hunt, I think maybe that's where I'd be. But I don't really like it more than that. I wouldn't even mini stack it.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. It is 90 degrees in Atlanta, so you do have that going for you, but I don't love the spot overall. I do like this next spot, though, on both sides here. O's kind of shit down my leg yesterday and hurt me pretty bad. Twins got the job done overall. Everyone who kind of bit the bullet and played Austin Martin, the pinch hit risk, he played the whole game and nuked the slate. So shout out to that. Ryan Jeffers is still super expensive, but still continues to rake. I like both sides here. I'm not a Brandon Young believer. I think the Twins are interesting, but I'm really not a Bailey Ober believer. He's horrendous against lefties. And you got super cheap Orioles. They're going to get some ownership, but they're going to be behind teams like Texas, the Rays, probably some other teams as well on the slate. I definitely have the O's back on my list. Shitty offense, sign me up. I'm going to play them again. Talk about bullpens. Twins bullpen is horrendous. Bailey Ober is not good against lefties. Won't be shocked if he went out there and shoved, just because I don't think this offense is historically very good. But I'm gonna take my chance again overall here. Talk to me. How do you see this one?
Yeah, both these pitchers are not very good. Young, I mean, he's been okay so far, the righties, but man, the lefties is what we're gonna want to attack. So I think Clemens is interesting. Larnick, Lee. I mean, I think they're a pretty interesting stack. So, I mean, especially with the cheaper, I kind of like how they fill in some of the hard spots. Ober, as you said, he's been bad against lefties. 12% K rate, 11% barrel rate. Just not been looking good so far. I mean, then you got the Twins bullpen. Yeah, I mean, I definitely like Baltimore. I mean, you got a game total sitting at 9. Yeah, I think all of it, especially lefties. I mean, Gunnar Henderson is cheap as hell on FanDuel. I think I was looking earlier and it actually caught me by surprise. I was like, dude, he's like 2,800 or something. He's less than 3K. I was like, man, what happened to Gunnar Henderson? Like, he used to be, I mean, he was like a 4K, even on FanDuel, $3,500 player. So he's fallen a little bit, but I think they're all interesting here in this one. I mean, Ober has just not been good at all. His last 30 days haven't been much better. I mean, he's even been getting barreled up 12% by the righties in his last 30 days. So 339 WOBA to the right side. So I think all of the bats here are definitely in play for both sides. I think you could maybe game stack this one if you wanted to. I mean, we got, two offenses I think are in play. I don't think they're, as far as I go, if I had to rank them, I'm probably guessing they're probably both outside my top 5, probably right around that range, maybe 5, 6-ish, maybe somewhere around there. I'd say I got a handful of other teams that I do like, but I think these guys are both sides are definitely in play.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell Baltimore's doing here. There's no the only 2 lefties they have in the damn lineup are Gunnar and Jackson.
It dropped.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely like them less now. I thought we were going to get like Kowser. I thought we were going to get a lot of their cheap lefties, and that's why I like them. I still think Jackson Holiday and Gunnar Henderson are 2 really good plays. They're going to get owned for sure. I think Pete Alonso's fine, but I definitely Kobe Mayo as well would be kind of the 4th guy. But I hate this lineup now after looking at it. It's not to say that I'm going to go run to the window and play Bailey Ober. You still do have a bad Twins bullpen as well behind him. I hate this lineup for the O's. I'm not sure what they're doing. So that does change things for me. Wish there was more lefties in there because that's what you really want against Bailey Ober. So I do actually put the Twins ahead of the O's now. Not going to be super high up my list, but I mean, Bell, Clemens, Lewis, Brooks Lee. You got a cheap Culpepper in there where you can wrap it around to the top. I think the wraparound twin stack is super intriguing here. Baltimore's bullpen was really good to start the year. Over the last 2 months or so, they're starting to regress back down. They're sitting at a 4.33 xFIP. So I do lean the twin side on this one. It is 90 degrees as well, 95 degrees in Target Field. So it is going to be hot and humid here. I think the Twins are my preferred side, and you're going to get the Twins unowned here again. And they've been really good. Clemens has been really good. Like I said, Royce Lewis, Josh Bell, Larnach. These guys have been kind of sneakily hitting the ball pretty well. They tagged Mizorowski for a couple home runs. They tagged some of the other Brewers guys for a couple of home runs. They hit some last night as well. So I think the Twins, after looking at it more and with this O's lineup, I definitely lean the Twin side more and have the Twins probably all things considered in my top 5 after looking at it and looking at their salaries, because it does allow you to spend up at pitching, which I am prioritizing. Next spot on the slate, White Sox and the Reds. Nick Lodolo on the mound. Sean Burke on the mound. No interest really in the Reds for me outside of just super contrarian bet against one of the highest owned, if not the highest owned pitcher on the slate. Blade, Ellie De La Cruz, Stewart. Sure, you can. Not something I'm going to really be doing. White Sox side, Vargas, I think is always in play, especially against the lefty in a fly ball one at that. Murakami, his price is more reasonable now. I think he's great. But guys like Grichuk and Doyle are pinch hit risk there. I don't love this game from a stacking, but I think you could power hunt or leverage some guys with guys like Ellie, JJ Bleday, Murakami, Vargas, things like that. But overall, as stacks and mini stacks, not a spot I love for offense. But how do you see it?
I mean, Lodolo coming back from that injury there. I mean, he's always been a fly ball type pitcher, especially the right side. He's pretty much double, 20, almost 30% to the right side compared to the left side where he's down at 15%. So, yeah, Vargas for me is definitely a play. I mean, Grichuk's so cheap. Like, he's really cheap. He's like, what, 2,900 on DK, 22 or something, I think, on FanDuel, I thought I saw. So, I mean, I think even if he gets 2 at-bats, I think he could get the job done for you. Yes, he is a pinch hit risk, that's for sure. But Meredith, Medroth, I always say Meredith. It looks like Meredith. My brain says Meredith, but it's Medroth. But I think he's in play too. I don't love the stack. I mean, I'd have it even below like the Twins and even the Orioles, even with that lineup they rolled out. And that's the thing with that Orioles, like that number still stayed the same, right? Like the over-under didn't drop. So to me, like, I mean, maybe it chases a few people away. Like if you still like the O's, I wouldn't back totally out of the O's. I would just maybe scale it back a little bit, but I still leave the O's in there because I mean, the number, Vegas didn't drop it, so I'd kind of leave it that one way it is. But going back to Lodolo, I think you can attack him. He's a fly ball type guy, especially with the righties. But, yeah, I mean, that game total has 7.5. I mean, this is a slate. We don't really want too many parts of any offenses in a total of less than 8. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, not the best spot to hit here either. 70 degrees, kind of mid 70s in Chicago. Wind's not really doing anything that's going to improve it. Yeah, Vargas would be my favorite guy from the game overall. Third base, spend up to be contrarian. I think he's $2K cheaper than a guy like Caminero. And Vargas has been one of the best hitters in baseball this season. So I think he's really interesting. Next spot, Palante, Christopher Sanchez, Palante ground ball guy. Phillies did some damage yesterday. Schwarber, Harper. I think you could play those guys anytime they're on the slate. Marsh. I don't love attacking a ground ball guy in Palante. However, I talk about bullpens. Palante typically goes pretty long just because, like I said, he does survive by the ground ball. If the Phillies can kind of jump on him early, this game could get out of hand really quickly with how bad that St. Louis bullpen is. It's hard for me to pay these salaries overall when it's going to be hard to just manufacture. I mean, Palante, one of the best turbo ground ball guys in the league. It's just hard to really get massive innings, crooked numbers going against him. Won't be shocked. Schwarber, Harper, like I said, Marsh, Stott. You do have some lefties here that can hit the ball in the air with some power. Arias even hits the ball in the air. So that's who I'd look at is definitely the lefty power fly ball guys in Schwarber, Arias, Stott, Harper, and Marsh. But outside of that, I don't love this spot overall from a stack. This ballpark has not been yielding a ton of runs. It is going to be close to 100 degrees in St. Louis, so that should help the ball carry overall. You got some wind blown out as well, which does help, but it's still, even with all of that, it's not playing that above average for hitting. How do you see this one though?
And Palante's just been one of them dudes. Like, I'm pretty certain last time Palante pitched, he was going against the Yankees, and we were talking about the Yankees being chalked that day. And I remember saying, I don't know, man. Palante's, too much of a ground ball pitcher. Things could go shitty real quick, which ended up happening. I think he only gave up 1 earned run, like 3 hits or something. I remember thinking, I'm glad I didn't want any part of that. But yeah, I mean, Schwarber maybe be the only guy I'd even consider playing with his 35.6 fly ball percentage. Arise, as you mentioned, is also pretty good at 34, but we know there's a huge power difference between Kyle Schwarber and Luis Arise. So Schwarber for me would be about the only place I'd go in this game. I'm not interested in going against Sanchez either, who's another ground ball guy, which I don't ever really want to try to fool with that guy either. So 2 ground ball pitchers, game total 7.5. As I said, maybe if you want to get to Palante now, if you do think Palante is only going to go like 4 or 5 innings, and then you're going to get into that bullpen, I think that's maybe where you could get the job done. But I mean, for what's on the offense today, on the slate today, I just think it's too far down the ring for me.
Yeah, I mean, Palante's sitting at a 16.5 out prop juice to the over. So, I mean, you're still looking at right around 6 innings for him, somewhere in there, 5 2/3, something like that. So could they do it in 3 innings, 4 innings of the bullpen? Yeah, absolutely. We saw what happened yesterday with the Rays. I just don't love this park in general, despite the warm temperatures. So Schwarber and Harper would be the really only 2 guys I'm looking at, not really picking on Christopher Sanchez. Takes us to the second half of the slate. It is an interesting note to mention, Gyiraszin. We got 6 early games and then 6 late games, right? So if you're sitting on some bust, right? A Burke doesn't really get there for you. A Cease doesn't really have the best game. Pivoting off of teams like the Rangers that we're going to talk about, something like that, to some of these lower owned teams in the second half of the slate. Make sure you do pay attention to that late swap. We don't usually get it where we have kind of a 6-6 split where you got 6 games in the first hour and then a full 2 hours almost to adjust based on where you're currently sitting in your tournaments, your cash games, whatever you're playing out there. So I did want to alert that. Make sure you are around to update lineups and kind of make any swaps to help you overall get in a better position to make some money on the slate. Takes us into the Rangers and the Angels. Good place to hit here, as it typically usually is. We got some wind blown out, temperatures in the mid 80s. right around 8 to 10 mile an hour winds the entire duration of this game. Angels, really bad bullpen, a really bad starter, and Ryan Johnson here allows a ton of power to both sides of the plate. Rangers probably check in as one of the highest owned, if not the highest owned stack. They do look really good here. Seager, Nimmo, all these lefties for sure look really good, but even guys like Wyatt Langford, Berger, Duran, all these guys. I mean, I don't love Elias Diaz or Nicky Lopez, but the other top 7 I really like a ton. Don't go in there and play Sean Burke and Dylan Cease in 5-stack Texas. You're going to have a very similar team to everyone else, but Texas has to look pretty damn good here. And then some of these Angels power, I don't think is the worst play. Bradford does strike out a lot of righties overall, but Mike Trout looks like an elite spend up to be contrarian. Same thing, Zach Neto at shortstop. Those 2 guys would be the main guys I'm looking at. A cheap Guzman at third base if you wanted to. He's fine, but not full stack in the Angels by any means. Talk to me here. How do you see this one?
Yeah, this guy out here, Ryan Johnson for the Angels, it's just been absolutely horrible the last month, Nades. Dude's got a higher walk rate. He's got a 17% walk rate to the left side, 47 appearances, 11% walk rate to the right side, 14% K rate to the right side. I mean, in a 17% K rate to the left, I mean, the dude has just not been very good with his control. So, I mean, he's going to be putting men on base. The WOBA is not been good to both sides, in the mid 370s to both sides of the plate this year. So, I mean, the fly ball percentages are high, mid 30%. I mean, this dude's been getting barreled up by both sides of the plate. So, yeah, I mean, Peterson, Seager, Nimmo, I think are definitely. I think the only guy I wouldn't play on the Rangers is Nicky Lopez, just because you're sitting at a guy with a 60% ground ball rate and a 16% fly ball rate against righties. I think he'd be the only guy I'd probably X out if I was a Ranger, stacking some Rangers. But yeah, we know that bullpen stinks. I'm all over it. They get the, definitely the 9-inning at bat. So Peterson's going to get 5 at bats. So that's for sure. So I definitely like the Rangers. As far as the Angels go, I mean, looking at Bradford, young kid, I think Mike Trout's always in play against lefties. Trout, I saw, hit his 20th bomb the other day. Trout's got a 391 WOBA against right-handed pitching or left-handed pitching. So that's somebody I'd look at, especially for like a one-off type play. But yeah, for me, the Rangers, especially when you include salary, man, they're and what you're looking at as far as the power, and then you're sitting there looking at, the Angel Stadium definitely yields runs. So I definitely think the Rangers, for me, one of my top 3 stacks here on the slate today, but easily.
Yeah, I mean, there is some pitch hit
risk. I'll give ALS here. Yeah, and Siri. He's got a pretty good WOBA as well, 357 against righty. So is Dianard. He's 332, but he's a little lower.
Yeah. I'll hit on Texas. I do think guys like Jock Jams does have some pinch hit risk for sure. Same thing with Nicky Lopez. The Angels did use 5 bullpen arms yesterday. 19 pitches, 18 pitches, 14. One guy who's probably going to be available, he's only thrown 4 pitches in the last 3, is a lefty. He's not a very good lefty, 4.5 ERA, 1.17 whip, doesn't really have a ton of strikeout stuff. They kind of recalled him out of necessity beginning of the last week from AAA with some injuries that they had. Saucedo. So he is probably likely to follow a Ryan Johnson. Again, not certain, but that does give some risk to some of those lefties. Evan Carter, Jock Jams, Nicky Lopez in particular, those kind of 3 guys. But it's really hard to get away from this Ranger spot. They're cheap. They allow you to spend up at pitching. They make a lot of sense. But like I said, maybe that's where you go, like a Hunter Brown and maybe a Christopher Sanchez or something like that. You pivot away from the popular Cease and Burke combination. Next spot, Rockies, D-backs. D-backs look good again here tonight. They did their thing yesterday against the rookie. I had some interest and definitely had some D-backs yesterday. They did me pretty well. They get arguably one of the most attackable pitchers in the major leagues, Sugano. Really bad bullpen as well. Behind him, D-backs have to look like a good stack here again. Shout out to everyone who played Arenado yesterday where he hit the home run righty-righty. Does he do it again here tonight? I guess we'll find out. D-backs are definitely on my short list of kind of top-tier teams that I'm targeting. super reasonably priced. They allowed me to spend up at pitching, which I want to prioritize. I don't think the Rockies are the craziest plays in the world. Hunter Goodman, I think, is an elite play on this slate, 5,400. Nobody's going to click that name. And he murders left-handed pitching, murders really anyone. Same thing with Cole Carrig. Kyle Carros has been really good too. So that 2-3-4, I think, is really, really interesting. Even adding in a guy like Willie Castro, who's been really good. Definitely prefer the D-back side, but I mean, Mitch Bratt, did he figure everything out? I mean, we were streamlining teams against him when he kind of first came up, had 9 strikeouts last game. Now everyone's just magically saying this guy's fixed. I don't know. I think the Rockies still have some upside here. Nobody's going to play them full 9 at bats. I don't think they're the worst plays in the world. Definitely Hunter Goodman's is the focus point from the Rocky side of it. But talk to me here. Any D-backs interest for you here tonight?
Yeah, Sagano is just we know it's not been good. So I'm not interested in really Colorado as much as I am Arizona. Arizona looks really good. They're one of my favorite stack. It's them, Texas, and the Rays for me in the top 3 today. But yeah, I mean, Sagano's been bad. I mean, it's a great stack. As far as the Rockies go against Bratt, I mean, he did have a really good start last time out, but before that, he looked like shit. I mean, giving up 7-8 hits. He gave up 4 homers in his troubles. But I just think here that it's more of a reach, and I'm not in a spot here to try to reach today, especially with as many good offenses as we find here. I mean, I'd put this one more in the middle, but yeah, Arizona for me, one of my favorite stacks tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. Corbin Carroll looks like one of the best plays on the slate overall individually. Perdomo too, really cheap. Marte, Newt Bar leading off, like they're saying in the chat. I think he's a really good play. Yeah, I love the D-backs overall as well. Takes us to Sutter Health, the best hitting environment on the slate. My hero, Jacob Lopez, did as best he could, and then they said, hey, hold on, let's turn it over. We still got the bullpen to do some work. 90 degrees, 12 to 15 mile an hour winds blowing straight out to left center field. The Rays aren't projected to be as high owned as they were yesterday. They're going to kind of be right there alongside of teams like Arizona and Rangers. It's kind of those 3 teams really headlining the slate. Tampa looks really, really good. Mason Barnett has some pedigree. I think he has some strikeout upside in the long term. However, he does have a ton of power issues right now as it currently stands, especially against lefties. Aranda, Simpson, Liam Hicks, Victor Mesa should be back in there. Mullins, Palacios. I mean, anytime the Rays are against right-handed pitching, they have much less pinch hit risk. And, I mean, I think they check out as the best overall stack on today's slate. And they're not going to be mega, mega chalk like they were yesterday and some other times because of their price points and spend up pitching on this slate. But I think I'm going to try everything I can to make it work. I definitely like the Rays much more here tonight than I did yesterday, just because I'm not a believer in Barnett as I was Jacob Lopez and what we've kind of seen him fix himself since the All-Star break. Talk to me here. Any interest in this one for you?
Yeah, for sure. Rays for sure. I mean, we saw it yesterday, like you said. I mean, in that park, especially with that bullpen, I mean, it isn't over till it's over. You can get them big innings at the end. So definitely, I mean, Caminero is obviously, Aranda is obviously a top stack, or top couple plays. But I think you got to be a little bit careful with some of these lefties here. It could be a pinch hit risk, but I think that's only kind of comes in play too. Like if the game is tight, right? Like if the game's not tight, they're just going to say, fuck it and roll it. But yeah, I think it's definitely one here that Rays for me is a stack that I want to play. I don't, like you said, I don't think they're going to be as popular, but I mean, we're sitting at a game total 10.5, has the highest total. You said best hitting conditions. Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting. I would more on FanDuel. I was kind of playing around and I had some 4-3 stacks and I ended up with more of my 3-man stacks actually Rays. So I was going heavier on some other teams, but and then throwing in some one-offs. So to me, like we haven't got there yet. Like Yordan Alvarez is probably one of the best one-offs on the damn slate today. So I but either way, I think with where we're at in pitching, going to want to pay some moderate pricing for pitching. It's not like we have to go all the way up. But like for me with Hunter Brown, it's pretty easy to build, teams with the Rangers, Rays, D-backs. It's pretty easy to build what you want. So, yeah, I can't wait for this slate to get going.
I don't think there's as much pinch hit risk as you think. Hogan Harris is probably unavailable. He's throwing 56 pitches. He threw back-to-back Saturday, Sunday. He's their main lefty that comes out. Don't think he's available. And then their other guy, Jose Suarez, who they acquired at the deadline or back in I think March, something like that, beginning of the year, basically coming over from Atlanta. He threw 19 pitches yesterday. So I don't know if he's going to go back-to-back. And then the rest of their pen is all right-handed. So I think these lefties are probably much more safe than what a lot of those righties were yesterday. So that makes me like the Rays even more. I think the biggest guy would be Palacios. If one of those lefties threw back-to-back, I think he'd be the first guy to come out. Outside of that, I think the rest of the Rays are going to see a bunch of right-handed pitchers in the best hitting environment on the slate and a terrible bullpen. So, yeah, sign me up. Rays my favorite overall stack on the slate. And their ownership's not even going to be off the charts, which I do think is pretty interesting overall. Next spot, Walker Buehler, Kyle Harrison. Buehler, not a good arm by any means. Do have a really good bullpen. I won't fault anyone for playing Milwaukee, especially some of those lefty power guys, like a Jake Bauers, something like that. But I don't love this spot. I hate this ballpark. It is, they did use Mason Miller for 19 yesterday. They don't typically throw him back-to-back. He's thrown 41 in the last 3 days. They used their best arms yesterday in that close game, coming from behind. I don't love it. A Bauer's one off, Churio, who's red hot right now, but their price points are up there too. In this ballpark, it's just not the bet. It'd be more of a bet on Walker Buehler is just not good. He's gotten shellacked a couple times. Outside of that, it's just not a great spot. How do you see this one?
Yeah, Buehler hasn't been very good. He's been walking his control. He's had a lot of control issues the last 30 days. Up at 12% walk rate to left side, 11% to the right side. But what scares me is anytime I see the Brewers, I just look and see what the ground ball rate is of the other pitcher. Buehler's got a ground ball lean, so I just don't love it. Buehler hasn't really been getting hit hard by lefties either. So I just it's not the spot for the Brewers for me today. But, I don't mind picking on Buehler on some nights. We got another game sitting at 7.5 total, bad park. It's just too much of a reach for me, and I don't think I want to reach too far in the slate today.
Yeah, I think Terang would be the second guy behind Jake Bauers, just because second base, if people are going up there, they're playing a guy like Ketel Marte. Terang, he can swipe, right? The Brewers are run in matchups like this, but yeah, it's not a good stack overall on this slate. Takes us to the next game. I love this spot. I hope this ownership holds true right now for the Astros. Astros might be, all things considered, 1B to the Rays for me on the slate overall. I know I like some O's. I know the Rangers look really good. I talked about the Twins, but the Astros overall, I think, are my favorite overall spot on the slate. You got a bad lefty in Wiz and Hunt. You got a really, really taxed Houston bullpen who used 5 bullpen arms yesterday, or not Houston bullpen. What am I saying here? Giant. Yeah, the Giants bullpen, who's one of the worst in baseball. They've used 5 arms yesterday, 3 the day before that. They're super taxed. I know the ballpark sucks, but Wiz and Hunt's not good. You're going to get bad pitching the whole duration of this game. Astros are going to be unowned. Alvarez looks elite, even lefty. And then you got guys who murder left-handed pitching. Walker, Altuve, Jeremy Payne has kind of cooled off a little bit. He's still kind of expensive, but you got cheap guys in the back half. Velasquez coming over. I think he's interesting play. Cam Smith has been red hot off and on this month, especially against lefties. He's really good. I love the Astros in this spot. It's a bet on a bad bullpen. I know the park's bad, but if this game was in Houston, I think everybody would be slamming the Astros just because it's in San Fran and it's a 12-game slate. Nobody wants to play them, despite the matchup being one of the best ones on the slate. I'm signing up for some Houston here at pretty low ownership, and it still allows you to spend up at pitching. Christian Walker's $4K. Altuve is 4,200, Diaz 3,700, right? Cam Smith 3,100. You can still afford an Alvarez, a Pena, because Predy's 3,900, right? So everything checks out to me. Talk to me here. How do you see this one though?
I agree with you. This game's in Houston. This game is being discussed a lot more than it is on this slate. I mean, you sit there and look at it, it's like how many times you see a visiting team with the team total almost 5 going into San Fran? That's very rare. Like, you just don't see that. And it's not like the Astros are powerful. It just goes to show you how shitty this Wisenhunt character's been. I mean, his walk percentages are just absolutely atrocious. The dude has not been. I mean, he's got a 14 walk percentage this year and 105 plate appearances. His WOBA's 385. Fly ball percentage is 31%. He's been getting barreled up both sides of the play. I mean, this guy has just not been good. The only thing I can say about him is he does give up ground balls to the left side. So really the only lefty they're probably going to see is Varsho and Jordan. And we already know Jordan's a freak. So Jordan's a freak in nature. Like, I don't think that matters. He's got a 34% fly ball percentage anyway. So I will say I do like the Astros. And I also think if you don't like the Astros and want to stack the Astros, I think Yordan Alvarez, the best hitter in baseball, is probably going to win the Triple Crown MVP. You basically probably get him for free today against the lefty. Like, no one's probably going to play Yordan. He could go off for you and be the total damn difference maker in this slate here today. So for me, anytime I can get a guy in a position like this, one of the best hitters in baseball against a shitty lefty, Jordan smashed him. Jordan, it don't matter what side of the plate. I mean, Jordan's good. I mean, he's got a 364 WOBA, which is pretty much the highest on the whole stinking Astros team that we're going to see against lefties. So I think Jordan, for me, is an excellent play, especially on the one-off side. Like, if you wanted to, look at, a Rays stack and maybe put Alvarez in, with a Rays stack and build around that, or I just think there's many ways you could go about it, but I think Jordan for me is one of the better plays on the slate. But I do think the Astros are interesting. Cam Smith, definitely interesting. Walker's definitely interesting. Paredes, sure. Pena's been struggling, like you said, a little bit, but man, I think it's definitely in play. Usually all these San Francisco home games are 7 totals, 7.5 totals. We got a game total of 8. And like I said, the Astros are almost sitting at a 5-team total. So yeah, I definitely got some interest in some Stros. They'd be my low-owned, like, sneakier stack for me today, especially like you mentioned, that bullpen not very good. So, yeah, bad pitcher, bad bullpen. I like it. I think it's definitely in play.
Yeah, I think 4 of the Giants' bullpen relievers are going to be unavailable. I don't know if Seymour is going to pitch again or going to be available, but he threw 46 in long relief on Saturday. Hasn't pitched, obviously, yesterday or Sunday, but Foley, Smith, and Hedges all threw back-to-back days, and then Brubaker threw 17 as well yesterday. So, I mean, they're going to be kind of relying. I mean, they could leave Wisenhunt out there to dry, right? And anytime you see that, I have to have interest. And I see the ownership low. Sign me up. Astros probably overall right there next to the Rays, like I said, as my favorite overall offense on this slate. Last game on the docket, Dodgers, Royals, Michael Wacha. Horrible DFS arm, pretty solid real-life arm, just really never gets murdered. Dodgers have been, quote-unquote, scuffling at the plate for their standards. They're still a good offense here. I wouldn't be shocked to see them. Nobody's going to play them either on this slate, which they do have almost a 6 implied run total at home here in Dodger Stadium, and we know how terrible that Royals bullpen is. It's just Wacha typically goes 6 or 7 innings, so you're really only looking at 2 innings of that bullpen, maybe 3 if they're losing, and you get the bottom of the 9th. Won't be shocked to see the Dodgers, but I can't prioritize the Dodgers at these salaries as a full stack when I want to prioritize spend up pitching. So you have to pick and choose your spots. Like I said, won't be shocked. It's just not a spot where I'm prioritizing as a full stack on this slate. I think Wacha's a good enough real life arm that he can hold them somewhat in check, that they're not going to be needed at their salaries amongst other teams on the slate. But break it down, last game on the slate.
Yeah, I think for me, I got a little bit more interested in the Dodgers than you do. Reason being is Wacha's not been good. Normally, you're right. I don't like the stack against Wacha. But, just look at him his last 30 days. He's been struggling. His lefties, he's been walking lefties. K percentage is down to 13% versus lefties. So I think that's something that I'm looking at attacking. His fly ball percentage has almost been at almost 40% here in the last 30 days. So, yeah, I think the Dodgers are more interesting to me just because they're not going to get as much love as they normally would. So for me, I think Dodgers are definitely a team for me. I got them outside my top 3. I probably put them 4, and then I probably have the Astros up there. But yeah, they're all in play for me. The top 5 teams here: Astros, Dodgers, Rays, D-backs, and Rangers.
Yeah, no, definitely see your point there. End of the show, Gyiraszin, your top 3 pitchers, your top 3 stacks, and a home run call, and we'll get out of here.
Pitchers, I'll go Brown, Burke, and Cease. Stacks, I got Rangers, Rays, and D-backs, and then throw in, like I said, some Dodgers, maybe some Astros, and a home run call. I mean, ALS, I know here, man, 1 for 8. That don't matter. That's Yordan Alvarez. He's got a 3. He's got the highest WOBA, 364 WOBA for a reason. Give me Yordan. Hit me a bomb today. I think when I first started looking at it today, Yordan just kept coming out at me. I like Yordan today.
All right, I like that. I will go Hunter Brown, Dylan Cease, and then I will go Ryan Weathers since you said Burke. Those are kind of the 3 guys I'm looking at. I'll go Tampa number 1, Houston number 2, and then I will throw in the D-backs, the Rangers, and the Twins to kind of round us out there. And my home run call, I'm going to one of my favorite overall stacks on the slate. He's probably going to hit in the back half of this lineup, maybe even 9th. Give me Cam Smith, 3,100. This dude murders left-handed pitching. He gets a bad lefty at that. He's going to be unowned. Give me Cam Smith to put one deep here tonight. That's going to do it. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. If you're not a member, SHIP19 is the code. 5 days for $19. Check out all of our premium content. More to come on our specials coming around for NFL, which is right around the corner. We're taking a look and getting our schedules aligned for that. So, like I said, more to come on that. But for Gyiraszin, I'm Nades. Good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those Shipping Nation logos at the top. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.